I think it's very important that all the journalists have made and said us here. It's very important that all of them underline the role of the whistleblowers and that we finally have to protect as a European Union whistleblowers. We have to award people like the people with LuxLeaks and not to be punished and judged and condemned by the courts. And we have to award people like Snowden. They opened the road, like Snowden and Assad, they opened the road for whistleblowing in the modern era in these last years. Well, you know, I would like to ask all of the journalists, they testified here. You know, in the European Parliament recently, we voted, not all of us, but we voted for the protection of the secrets of the enterprises. And now I would like to ask you whether you have some proposals for the protection of the right of the journalists to investigate such stories. Do you have some precise ideas what we can do, what we can vote for the transparency, for facilitate your work in order to have better results?
Microphone, please.
Maybe one element that we should add to this debate is the important use of encryption as a way of securely communicating with each other. Encryption has been on the agenda often in terms of the fight against terrorism, should authorities have access to encrypted data. But you should know that we at ICIJ also communicate often with each other through encryption. It's not a black and white story. I'm just saying if you want whistleblowers to contact us in such a way that they won't leave traces behind, if you want us journalists to be able to communicate with each other on sensitive topics without being spotted on by a third party, then encryption is a useful tool.
Thank you. Any further supplementary question?
Sorry. I would like to ask Mr. Clerics. He said that in every research, the typical answer was that what we are doing is according to the law. Well, I would like to ask you whether you think there are laws that could be changed in order to make the whole system more transparent and also to facilitate your job.
Thank you, Mr. Clerics.
As I've previously pointed out, I think that the main laws to be changed are the one inside the tax havens, the jurisdictions where laws make it possible that anonymity is guaranteed. So I think those are the principal steps to be taken. Inside Europe, I think it's important that every member state has good guarantees for source protection of journalists in terms of facilitating our work. Belgium, in that respect, is quite a good example. Then, as for whistleblowers, I think one thing is protecting them against judicial prosecution afterwards. Another thing is looking at the future of their life. Imagine you're a whistleblower and you came out with information from the company you used to work for, and next week you have to look for a new job. Who's going to hire you? Because in your previous job you leaked information. So let's also take their futures into account. And how can a legislative framework answer to this challenge? Thank you.
Thank you. Sven Giegold next.